Genre: informational text. Essential questions. What could happen when an animal moves to a different habitat? How might your habitat be affected if something new was introduced? Ecosystem Invaders by Nancy Morris. Upsetting the balance. Picture a peaceful stream. Some plants grow on the land, along its edges, while others grow right in the water. Frogs hop from rock to rock. Some fish lay eggs, and reptiles doze in the mud. Bears splash in the stream as deer nibble at flowers on the shore. A hawk swoops down from the sky to grab a mouse. The stream you are picturing is a healthy ecosystem. It has a balance of living and non-living things. The flowing waters have many healthy food chains. Now picture an animal from a different ecosystem moving to this stream. You may not be able to tell where the animal comes from, but you know it does not belong there. This new animal has no competition for food. Because of this, it causes many problems. The new animal is an invader, a living thing that has moved somewhere it may not belong. It destroys the places where frogs hunt, lizards sleep, and fish lay eggs. More plants and animals die than normal. The new animal disrupts the food chain because it is an invasive species. The native species do not have adaptations to compete with it or fight it. In most cases, people bring an invasive species to a new ecosystem. This is often by accident. The invasive species slips into its new home without anyone noticing. Algae, mayfly, salmon, bear. Sometimes people do not know the harm a species is capable of causing. They decide to bring it somewhere new. After all, a plant or an animal in its natural ecosystem does not hurt the place where it lives. The trouble starts when a species moves into an ecosystem where it does not belong. What problems do you think invasive species can cause? Let's learn about 4 of them to find out. Zebra mussels flex their muscles. The zebra mussel is a freshwater animal. It gets its name from the dark and light stripes on its shell, which remind some people of a zebra. Zebra mussels are very small. In fact, most are about the size of the nail on your finger. Do not let the size fool you, though. This little mussel can cause big trouble. Zebra mussels first lived only in the Caspian and Black Seas in Europe and Asia. In 1988, scientists were confused when they found zebra mussels in Lake St. Clair in the United States. Nobody had ever seen zebra mussels there before. Scientists learned that ships had brought the striped invaders to the lake. The zebra mussels had been living on the ships. When some of this water spilled into the lake, the zebra mussels were released and soon spread to other places. How did these tiny invaders spread so quickly? A female zebra mussel makes millions of eggs. The eggs hatch quickly, and then the young drift in the water. Once they hit something solid, they stick to it and do not let go. Other mollusks, turtles, and crayfish cling to boats. The mussels move with these things and spread quickly. The journey of the zebra mussel. Zebra mussels damage an ecosystem because they eat so much. They eat tiny water organisms called plankton. Native species also eat plankton. The native species can starve when the zebra mussels eat so much of their food source. Zebra mussels also cling to native mussels and clams. What happens then? The native animals cannot open their shells. they cannot eat or breathe. These native animals die, and then other animals no longer have food. So, how can the invaders be stopped? People who use boats can help stop zebra mussels from spreading. They can clean their boats carefully before they move them to a new lake or stream. Plankton. Good pigs gone bad. Another invader brought by boat is the feral pig, but unlike zebra mussels, feral pigs were brought to the U.S. on purpose. The feral or wild pig is not like the tame animals you can find on farms. Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto first brought pigs to North America in 1539. Many farmers let their pigs run free over the years. As a result, some of the pigs ran away to live in the wild. Much later, hunters brought a pig called the Eurasian wild boar to North America. The people who brought these pigs thought it might be fun to let them go free and then hunt them. Today, feral pigs in the United States are a mix of De Soto's animals and the Eurasian wild boars. They are an invasive species in more than 20 states. It should be no surprise to you that feral pigs behave like pigs. They love to eat and dig. When they root around for food, they destroy plants. They ruin streams and ponds. Feral pigs gobble eggs and small animals. They disrupt ecosystems at every level. Native species are helpless against the feral pig. Feral pigs destroy their ecosystems and eat up almost everything in their path. Plants and animals cannot grow back fast enough. Feral pigs in the wild. Many feral pigs also carry diseases. These diseases can spread to other animals and even people. Feral pigs can also make life hard for farmers. How do you think they harm farmers? The pigs destroy crops and kill farm animals. The feral pig has few natural predators, except people. Hunting or trapping them is the only way to get rid of these wild animals. But it's nearly impossible to get them all, so the invaders are here to stay. Dogs are often used to hunt feral pigs. Sneaky snakes. The brown tree snake first lived only in Australia and some of its surrounding islands, where there is little food. The shortage of food keeps the population of snakes under control. That helps keep them from doing harm to their home ecosystems. In the late 1940s, the brown tree snake came to Guam, and it caused a lot of trouble. This small island in the Pacific Ocean is about 6,000 miles west of San Francisco. Brown tree snakes live in trees and other places, such as logs and caves. They can go a long time without food. This is why the snakes could live through the journey to Guam. People did not know they were bringing brown tree snakes to Guam. The snakes hid like stowaways in many different ships. Once the snakes invaded the island, they started eating birds and other small animals. Guam had no tree snakes before the brown tree snakes arrived, so the native species were not able to protect themselves. Nature had not given these species anything they could use to fight off the new hunters. To make matters even worse, the snakes had no predators. No other animals could compete with them for food, so they spread very quickly. Brown tree snake. Today, brown tree snakes are devouring many other animals on the island. Some native birds have disappeared, and other animal populations are declining. These losses upset the ecosystem. Brown tree snakes can hide almost anywhere. Planes and ships in Guam are searched. People set traps for them. But stopping the brown tree snake is not easy. Unfortunately, these snakes have made themselves at home on the island. A beautiful invader. Believe it or not, some pretty plants can also be invasive species. In 1876, the United States turned 100 years old, and Americans decided to hold a big party in Philadelphia. Many countries built fancy exhibits for this huge party. The Japanese made a garden filled with lots of interesting plants. A beautiful vine called Kudzu was in the garden. American gardeners saw this plant and wanted to grow it in their gardens. A Japanese garden. Its large leaves were shaped like hearts, and its fragrant purple flowers smelled great. Soon after the exhibit, Americans began to plant this ornamental vine in their gardens. Farmers grew kudzu and sold it. Other people planted the vine on hills and near water. They used kudzu to keep soil from washing away. It's too bad no one guessed that this plant would be so hard to control. Kudzu. Kudzu whines and creeps everywhere it grows, and it can grow as fast as 1 foot per day. Like a leafy bandage, it covers almost everything. The vine is mostly a problem in the southern United States. Down in the south, the climate is good for the plant. The summers there are hot and rainy, so it's just the kind of place that kudzu loves. As kudzu grows and grows, it harms or kills other plants that get in its way. Kudzu vines can form a thick coat on trees, blocking sunlight. Without sunlight, the trees die. People have tried to use poison to kill kudzu. They have let farm animals eat it. But even when people think that kudzu is gone, it may not be. Its seeds can stay alive without growing for several years. So it can grow back suddenly even after its leaves have disappeared. Like other invasive species, kudzu is hard to stop. A delicate balance. Zebra mussels, feral pigs, brown tree snakes, and kudzu are important parts of the food chains in their home habitats. They do not cause problems in their native ecosystems. But when they move somewhere else, they can harm the living things there. They can upset the balance of an ecosystem and become an invasive species. Unfortunately, invasive species come in a much larger variety than just these 4. People must do their best to be aware of the effect a new species can have on an ecosystem and prevent it from destroying the delicate balance of life.